do well by your fellow man. That's all we ask here on the Packy Run.
For sure. You want to wrap things up and
Oh no.
maybe do some
The video paused. No, we've gotten this far. We can't. It can't go this wrong now.
Oop, where did AJ go?
Reconnect, damn you. No. I refuse to lose another episode.
Hello?
Pitiful. Absolutely pitiful. I'm keeping this in anyway. Or maybe it'll be the cold open. We'll wait and see if Dan calls back. How fucking funny would it be if because of this, we lost another episode?
Welcome back to the Pack Your Run podcast. We were supposed to have an episode a couple weeks ago, but technology decided to fail us once again.
I feel great shame.
It seems to be a trend on this show, but hopefully we will. Technology you can never plan for, but scheduling you can plan for, and hopefully we get our shit together with our scheduling. But other than that, I am your co-host, Dan Mayotte. I don't have anything clever in between my name today, but and I have my co-host here.
AJ, where the hell did that file go, La Gambina?
Yeah.
We had a beefy one too. We had it was almost 2 hours of recording. And I've got training in audio, and one of the first things that they kind of teach you is that every time you record or edit or do anything that you should save. And on a Mac, that just means hitting Command S like it's your day job. And yeah, I went to go do some edits and was almost done too. My computer was just being really kind of wonky and slow, and when I restarted the computer, the file was gone. Just the entire episode just disappeared like it never existed. And the rage that I felt in my body, it still echoes. I can still feel it. I don't understand.
There's something to be stated about physical rage, getting so mad that you are physically I can imagine that was you. You were violently angry.
I was shaking, just sitting on my couch trying to finish this episode, and just where did it go? Where did it go? So we'll give you guys a decent kind of recap on what's going on there. There's a decent amount of Boston sports news that we can cover. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but the Celtics are on a little bit of a tear. Well, not so much after last night, but we'll see if they bounce back. And
yeah, they better.
Yeah, we'll do some more music talk and everything else, and see where this recording takes us. Hopefully to better places than the last one.
For sure, I think it will.
just so bummed.
Yeah, it can't be like the last one. And sorry guys for not having an episode out for a while. Scheduling conflicts. I've been working full time. It's my schedule has been changing pretty rapidly. They've done some new availability kind of stuff at my job. So yeah, we started off strong, and then the past couple of weeks it's been a struggle to get 8 hours of sleep at the end of the day, So we're back, we're here, we're doing the thing. Yeah, for sure. I know, at least for me, with no concerts at my job, I will be working from home, which is great. 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. So that'll be a lot easier. I think the only thing is I will be working at another music venue this summer. So there'll be the occasional nights where I'm not able to, but hey, got to make that money.
What? Yeah, right.
Yeah, here's the thing. Summer is my money-making time crunch time.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's the time to pay the bills.
Set yourself up for success when the slow season comes.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, what are we drinking this afternoon? Because as of right now, it is 12:47 on a Monday afternoon.
Yeah, it is 11:47 on a Monday afternoon here in Nashville, and I am pre-gaming in anticipation of some family events. So I decided to crack open the final of the 1.5 million White Claws that have been sitting in my fridge. This one happens to be black cherry, which is like the least interesting of all the drinks. And yeah, I cracked open one nice and early just for the podcast because I can.
Hell yeah. Well, as of right now, my days off run to be Sunday and Monday. So I woke up this morning, laid in bed for a little bit, took a shower, and I've just been sipping on cold brew. Justine and I have a gallon cold brew maker.
Yeah.
So make a big batch of that for the week, and we rotate different coffee that we want. So this week it is New England coffee. But I think maybe I'll maybe I'll do a roast and roast some of my own beans and have some cold brew for next week.
I have to imagine that with the cold brew sitting there over the course of the week, because the whole thing is that like the ground beans are sitting in the water, and that's why cold brew is so much stronger. Like I have to imagine by the time you get to the end of the week with a jar of cold brew, that stuff is like radioactive levels of caffeine.
Well, it's not just that. Like it is, when it gets to the bottom, it's literally all the grounds and it's just fucking mud. Like the last cup of it, you'll take a sip and you just get a mouthful of like grounds. You're just like
like you're spitting sunflower seeds.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I was like thinking about that. Yeah, like you're spitting sunflower seeds out.
See, I fucking detest when there's grounds in my coffee. So actually, I'm gonna do it tonight because I haven't done it in a couple of weeks and I miss doing it. I'm gonna grind up some of the beans that I have and do the French press cold brew. So you grind up your beans, you drop them into lukewarm water and give it a quick stir, and then instead of pressing it immediately, you leave the plunger of the French press up and you leave it. You leave the coffee overnight in your refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do that, and that's usually how I make my cold brew for the mornings. But every time I do it, I grab a coffee filter in the morning and I'll put it over my little travel mug and then pour the cold brew from the French press into that to avoid any of the extra like little just coffee grounds from getting in there. Cause yeah, I hate that. I hate when you're sitting there in the middle of the day and you like have the last couple of sips of your cold brew and then you're like, what is this? Why is there shit in my teeth? Nah.
Yeah, that's not pleasant.
Worth it for the caffeine, but
right. I had 2 French press at one point, and I don't know what happened to them.
I've just got a decent sized single serve one, and depending on what roast I put into it, sometimes I'll grab like if I find one of the little packages of like ground espresso, I'll do espresso instead of like normal coffee beans, and that stuff will wake you up real quick.
Oh yeah, it's like battery acid.
Definitely.
Oh man. Yeah, for the past week I've been in the office and the coffee machine has been out of coffee, and every time every single day I would go down and check to see if there is some, and every single day I make the same damn joke, same dad joke. And it's like, well, I guess it's their kind way of telling me to lay off the coffee, like stop drinking so much caffeine, like they're trying to limit it.
Yeah, my job, we pretty early on after we opened, we ordered like a Mr. Coffee, and it was the slowest coffee machine in the world, but at least it was like brewed like drip coffee, and we'd go through like 2 or 3 pots a day because there were only a couple of us that would A, make it, and B, drink it. And then the company I work for decided that all stores were getting shipped to two Keurig machines, and they got rid of the Mr. Coffee, and I have to tell you, I'm severely disappointed. Like, it'll work in a pinch, but man, Keurig coffee is not real coffee. It's not good.
Keurig is good if you are just it's a good gateway into coffee, I think.
It gets me my fix, but none of the none of the pods are all that good. Like, it doesn't taste the way, like, there's a taste thing that's not there. So I think I might have to invest in one of those, like the one we had in college, where you can like fill it with your own grounds and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like, see if I can kind of skew it a little bit and get some better brews out of those things. But I miss that coffee maker.
Oh, that was a good one. All right. So the lost episode included, we talked about the Patriots schedule. We talked about some random Patriot news. We talked about the draft. We talked about some of the gigs that we went to recently, which we will include all of that today. Let's start off with Patriots news. And from what I remember, some of the small news things, we heard Jared Stidham got traded to the Raiders. So
Patriots West.
Patriots West, for sure. Vince Wilfork inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame. Good for Vince.
Well deserved. We love a big boy touchdown.
Yes, for sure. And then the draft, which I think a lot of people were scratching their heads at the NFL draft and what the Patriots were trying to do, especially with that first pick of Cole Strange.
Yeah, I mean, I think now that we've like had a lot of time to process it, I think that the Cole Strange pick is kind of, for lack of a better term, it's strange, but it's I do think that maybe at least in the front office's kind of heads, it's probably like a vote of confidence in Mac. Like, here, we're gonna get you a guy that we think can, protect you and can do what an offensive lineman is expected to do for the New England Patriots. That's really the only kind of like justification that I could really kind of find, because the entire offseason there was so much talk about we're focusing on getting younger and faster at like in defensive positions, and out the gate we kind of jumped straight into an offensive lineman. We dropped back and then still got him in the first round, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I remember in the pre-draft show, I was talking about Trent McDuffie. That's who I really wanted the Patriots to draft in the first round, which when we traded back with Kansas City, they drafted my guy. But I also said in that preview, I thought they would go with the unsexy pick and go with Zion Johnson from Boston College. Offensive guard, interior offensive lineman, which at the time the Patriots were picking, he was gone. He went to the Chargers, I believe, at 17. And a lot of people are comparing Cole Strange to Logan Mankins, which, I mean, Logan Mankins was an awesome offensive lineman for the Patriots. He was a staple of that offensive line. And I mean, if Cole Strange can be that guy for us for 10 years, hey, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It's something to help Mac.
Yeah.
It's we didn't pull a Green Bay Packers who like have been desperately trying to help Aaron Rodgers, and they draft defensive like linebackers instead of drafting him a wide receiver or a weapon. So
yeah,
or a quarterback.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, I think if he can produce and he's going to be a good player for us, that's all that matters. And people he is, I saw like a statistic that he is like coming out of the draft since like 1970 or like 1980 or something like that. He is like the third or fifth best offensive lineman and this is like ahead of like Hall of Famers, like his ceiling. So, and I think I think a lot of people are hesitant because it is a small school, but when he did play against bigger schools like Alabama and the SEC, he was just as good. He was a difference maker on that offensive line at Chattanooga.
Yeah, I think it remains to be seen. I haven't heard a lot of talk about him now that preseason activities have kind of started. But I think that, yeah, like I said, I think his pick was a little bit of a vote of confidence in Mac. Like, okay, we haven't done great with, drafting receivers and everything else. So we're going to get you, Mac, a guy that hopefully you can kind of like form that little bit of a bond with and make him a staple of your offensive line and keep you protected while you continue to work on being like a franchise quarterback.
For sure. And I mean, initially when I saw it, I was like, you drafted this guy when you had Dax Hill on the board. You had all these other people that you could draft. I was a little to be honest, I was a little frustrated by it. Mm-hmm. But who's to say all those other players actually work out in those systems? So it works out with those teams. There's so many different factors that can happen. So many different things.
Exactly. So we, Cole Strange definitely kind of came out of the blue. I think we're really gonna find out whether or not it was worth it.
Well, and to add another thing, there are questions about Isaiah Wynn being on the team next year, so he could potentially fill in with that role as well. This is his last year with the team potentially. Cole Strange does fill an immediate need with Shaq Mason being gone, but I hope he works out. I hope all of our draft picks work out. Tyquan Thornton was next. And people were saying at the time he was a bit of a reach, but we wanted to get fast, and this could
picking the guy with it was the fastest 40-yard dash, right?
Something like that.
In the combine, we managed to snag 2 of the fastest players in the combine. So they definitely did. They came through on the speed aspect of what they were talking about. I'm not sure if we saw a lot of, defensive players that at least on paper are huge difference makers. But, we've had, last season and the season before were not, totally normal seasons because of COVID and everything else. So there was definitely, there's opt-outs that are coming back. I think there's a lot of kind of factors that people weren't necessarily thinking about when they were giving their reviews of the draft. I think it was a lot of kind of hairpin trigger, get the hottest take out there.
I mean, the thing is, it's so easy to get, come out with hot takes, like get very frustrated, but there will always be draft picks there will always be draft busts. There will always be injuries. I mean, obviously we hope that there aren't injuries, but sometimes people just don't work out for whatever reason, because of coaching, because of scheme fit.
Looking at you, N'Keal Harry.
I mean, N'Keal Harry just didn't put any effort in. And I mean, with Tyquan Thornton, he's as good as gone at this point.
Yeah. Which is fine, because with Thornton, if he really is kind of the speed and the deep threat that we hope he's going to be, that wide receiver room looks way better than I think a lot of people give them credit for.
I think it's a lot better than what people think it is.
And I'm sure we'll get to this, but spoiler alert for the episode that you're never going to hear. Didn't we both come out after we looked at the schedule and said that this was going to be like what, an 11-6 team?
Something like that.
11-6, 12-5, something like that. Like we were questionable when we started that run through, and then we both ended up kind of sitting there looking at the schedule and going, this team might win a game or two more than they did last season.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think, and a lot of people were surprised we didn't pick any linebacker in this draft. We had plenty of opportunities to get some good linebackers, but we just didn't take them. We could have had Devin Lloyd. We could have had, the guy from Georgia. We could have had a lot of different guys. I want people to keep this name in mind, and there have been reports on him and how good he is looking in training camp. Connor McGovern, keep an eye on him. He is going to be a huge difference maker this year, I think.
I think that's real.
And
I think we've got
there's a lot of depth there, but like there's a lot of unknowns.
Most notably with the coaching staff.
That too. I mean, we should get to that in a minute, but we'll get to that. We also have Marcus Jones, who seems like the prototypical slot nickel Patriots corner that will come in there and like shut down the slot wide receiver. So he should be a really good steal. He's also really fast and dynamic in kick return duties. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun to watch him, and I hope he does a great job here.
Yeah, I definitely want to see some like Wes Welker, Julian Edelman kind of kick returns out of that kid.
For sure. Then we have Jack Jones. He's another corner, kind of smaller, but he is a playmaker and he can make some of those 50-50 balls. But again, I think we needed a lot of cornerback help, and those two guys should help us out there.
And assuming that the other pieces of our defense stay healthy and stay consistent. Looking at you, Matthew Judon.
For sure.
I think we have the potential to do some really great kind of shutdown defense throughout the season. And I think Bill Belichick is still the head honcho. That's going to be, as long as he's here. I think our defense is going to be above average.
Yeah, I think it's always going to be good. For a while it wasn't that great. Especially when we weren't winning those Super Bowls. Those were tough. But I think with some of the vets that we do have, some of the other guys that we have brought in, I think we're going to be just fine. In the fourth round, we did pick Pierre Strong Jr. Seems to be the type that he is a different kind of pace back. So it's a different type of back that we really need. So we have the power guy in Damian Harris. We have Damian Harris is great. He is the power guy. We have Stevenson, who is a mix of power and in between the tackles. Pierre Strong is the fast guy. He is the change of pace. He is the third down back. He will be catching balls out of the backfield. I expect him to turn into a pretty big weapon for this team.
Yeah, I think it's gonna. I think it's necessary that he does turn into that weapon.
We definitely need that. What is it? Brandon Bolden isn't there anymore. James White signed a 1-year contract. We have JJ Taylor. We haven't seen a lot of. We haven't seen a lot of He hasn't seen a lot of action. Hopefully we get to see more Pierre Strong, or definitely some more of that. We have Bailey Zapp also in the fourth round.
Zappy.
I saw a lot of people complaining about this pick.
I think it's one of the most stereotypical Belichick picks.
It's a classic Patriot pick. Somebody was
that was what, fourth round?
Yeah, somebody was like, "Why would you pick a quarterback in the fourth round? Like, are you trying to replace Mac?" And it's like, no. Like, here's the thing. Like, we just traded away Jared Stidham. Or actually, we picked Bailey Zapp, still having Jared Stidham on the roster. But Brian Hoyer is, I want to say, 38 at this point.
Yeah, and is definitely more... Hoyer is more of a coach than, an actual backup. He was, when the season that we had Cam, it was... Hoyer wasn't there to really be a backup. Hoyer was there to introduce somebody who has never worked in this system, into this system, and has done the same for Mac, clearly.
Yeah, for sure. And he's there to be a leader. He is a good emergency quarterback.
Capable, for sure.
Some of the good things about Bailey Zapp: he has a quick release and an accurate short to immediate passer when throwing in rhythm. He doesn't project as a running threat, but he is fine. I think if an emergency starter, You always need a backup quarterback regardless. You never know what's going to happen. We've seen a lot of quarterback injuries over the years.
Especially with the more mobile way that the quarterbacks are becoming. Those rollouts when you're not sitting in the pocket, when you're not protected like that, you're opening yourself up for a lot. Not that that's like a big thing that Mac does, but it's something that, again, now that OTAs have started and everything else, it's definitely Mac does have legs, and he is able to use them. So there's been some talk about maybe incorporating a little bit more of that into his game plan, and that can open you up for a lot.
Yeah, for sure. We didn't have a 5th round pick, but we had 3 6th round picks. We had Kevin Harris from South Carolina, running back. We had Sam Roberts, defensive tackle from North Missouri State. 6th round pick, Chasen Hines from LSU, offensive guard, and Andrew Stuber from Michigan, offensive guard from Michigan, and in the 7th round. I will notably say that the 2 offensive guards, Hines and Stuber, we usually have pretty good luck with the late round gems of offensive linemen. I wouldn't be surprised if both of them turn into studs, just like Joe Tooney or Shaq Mason or Michael Uwenu.
The potential is definitely there.
I mean, we don't know about that yet. Just the way that we coach everyone up, for sure.
Yeah.
So that was the NFL draft. We went over undrafted free agents last time, but maybe we'll table that for another conversation.
Yeah, give them a little bit more time now that practices are starting and everything else. We can kind of give some more thoughts going forward once we know more, because there's not a bunch to write home about with a lot of this stuff right now.
I mean, there is a lot to be said about the way that Mac has looked.
Yeah, and the way that he's dealt with his media availability and everything else. He looks and sounds like he is a Patriot, which is like, there was a lot of if you remember when OTA started and stuff the year before, there was a lot of laughing and a lot of back and forth, and the big kind of narrative was, is it going to be Mac or is it going to be Cam or what's going on? And now he looks like he's been doing it for years at this point.
He looks like he's gotten rid of kind of like that baby fat, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
like
there was a lot of talk about that a few weeks ago. Like he definitely looks like he's slimmed down. A lot of the guys were talking about him being in the weight room constantly. He made some comments about it during interviews. Like he definitely looks like he's toned up a little bit,
which I'm excited about. I think it's going to be awesome and hopefully we potentially see him really step into his role and like kind of take the keys to the offense. Because we saw that a little bit last year, but it was a running team. It was Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson pounding it down your throat team.
Yeah, and that was good enough to get them. That was good enough to get them where they went. But I think Mac having a better idea of what he's looking at scheme wise and who he's playing against in defenses and things like that. The more knowledge and the more ability athletically you have, the better chance you have to do something that's going to throw the other team off balance and go win some games.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? I made this point the last time in the Lost episode. If this draft doesn't work out, if this is like a bad draft on the level of 2019, we may have to see Bill Belichick get out of here.
Yeah, I think if the screws come loose this season, I would not be surprised to see at least a severe reining in. Maybe some changes to his control over the front office, something like that. I think at a minimum, we have 2 more years of Belichick. I think if this team doesn't really turn it around and do what they need to do within the next 2 years, then I think it's really time that they start having conversations about like, well, is it time for a new head coach? Is it, what kind of changes come with that?
For sure. I mean, Robert Kraft has already started to kind of put the pressure on Bill. We've heard some of it in interviews.
Yeah.
And that 2019 draft, you can't get over how bad that was.
Just misses everywhere. Like it was painful,
Right. Like there was only,
especially in hindsight.
oh yeah. Like there was only one truly good hit in that draft that they actually drafted, and it was Damian Harris. Everyone
Yeah.
else was N'Keal Harry. You had Jonah Williams. You had I guess Jacoby Myers as well, but you didn't draft him. He was undrafted.
Yeah. And a little bit of a late bloomer.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm not saying that Bill needs to go immediately, but I think if this draft is not looking good, we may have to look for a different direction.
Yeah.
Especially with not knowing who is actually going to be doing the offensive play calling.
Yeah, there's that part still doesn't make sense to me,
I don't think it makes sense
Offense.
to anyone.
Offense by committee just doesn't seem like the way to go. And there were reports in the past couple of days about, I don't know how they managed to make this a report, but welcome to the national NFL media. They're saying that like it's trending towards Matt Patricia with giant air quotes around it. I don't really know what that means. I don't know if I'm a Matt Patricia apologist. I think that any dude that can work on NASA rockets has at least got to have a decent amount of brain power. But he was, defensive coordinator for us, just very, very disliked, and for good reason, when he took over as head coach of the Lions.
I mean, he was very up and down as defensive coordinator here.
Yeah.
I mean, that Eagles Super Bowl, you can argue
that's a tough one to swallow.
That's a tough one to swallow. And that one, the Eagles scored that many points on Matt Patricia's defense.
It's true.
So it's a wait and see game.
Yep.
Obviously, I mean, everything is waiting and seeing what will actually happen. We're waiting for the preseason to happen. We're getting little hints and clues along the way, but they're holding their cards to their chest. They're not letting anyone take a peek.
Nope. So yeah, I think it's a lot of wait and see. And like I alluded to earlier, the schedule came out. We took a look at it. I don't think we need to run through the entire schedule again, or maybe we can when we start getting later into the preseason.
Yeah, for sure.
Start to see what this team is actually about. But as it stands now, like I said, we were both thinking maybe 11-6, 12-5, just based on the roster that we have on paper right now. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic about this team. There's a lot of reasons just to kind of look at what they seem to be trying to do. And if you analyze it from that perspective, it definitely it seems like a capable team. It seems like a fairly capable coaching staff, despite some of the questions. And the schedule is not. I don't think it's the worst one we've seen.
It's tough.
Yeah, I think.
But
Yeah,
every schedule in the NFL is tough.
Decidedly so. So I think I think a lot of things have to go right for us, and I think there has to be a lot of preparation and a lot of knowing your enemy that needs to work in our favor. But I do, as it stands right now, 11-6, 12-5 would not surprise me. Make our way into the playoffs, maybe a little bit further than we did last year. That's assuming everything goes right, though. So I think it's a decent team. They just really got to buckle down and kind of gel together. And as we get into trainings and preseason games and things like that, we'll definitely have a better idea of, okay, this is what this team is about.
Yeah, and I think we will do we did a too early to tell, but we
said 1.5 million times in that episode. We were like, yeah, this, take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah, that's the thing. There are so many things that change. What does the NFL stand for? Not for long.
Yep.
That's what it stands for.
Last season, about, just past the mid-season mark, when everybody was like, oh man, they're going to be number one in the AFC and this is going to happen and everything's going to come together, and not so much. But
yeah, we started off 9-4.
Yeah.
Coming out of Dallas, 2-4, then went on that little win streak, went to our bye,
Wasn't quite enough gas in the tank, but I think there's a lot of, the true home team guys can kind of sit back and be like, oh, well, rookie quarterback and a lot of new free agent additions. Plus, it was a young kind of untested team, and they still managed to do everything that they were doing. And I say this as one of those homer guys.
Yeah.
Year 2 for a lot of those guys, I think we're going to see a lot more capability than we saw previously, especially in Mac. So
I think the media hates Mac, to be honest.
I know the media hates Mac. And it's funny because they
He's-
started to change their tune last season, like as the season went on, and now we're back in the preseason and people are acting like this kid
People want to
has no
replace him
skill.
already. People want to
Yeah.
like what?
He led a Patriots team that spent the season before just absolutely flailing. So 2 seasons before Mac Jones, we had Brady with 0 weapons and 0 cap space, and they fell on their face like they were always going to do in that season. The year after, we get Cam Newton for pennies, who's pretty much just washed at this point. I love Cam, but I don't
He's
think
done.
he doesn't have an NFL quality arm. He can run better than anybody, and I'm sure he's still a beast of an athlete, but as a quarterback, he's washed. So you get Cam Newton for a year with COVID and everything, making everything super weird, and it just wasn't a well-constructed team. So the next year, you get your quarterback of the future, who as a rookie takes you to the playoffs with a team that is just riddled with uncertainty between free agents and new draft picks and everything else. Nobody knew what the hell to expect from the Patriots last year. And a quarterback in his second year in a system like this is bound to get better. So is everybody else at every other position.
Well, you know what
So,
it is? People are trying to compare him. Look at all the young other quarterbacks in the league right now. You have Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. You have Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. I just named 5 right there that superstars, and they're great.
Yeah.
All of them are fantastic, and they're young, and they're like, oh, Mac isn't those guys. And you know what? I don't think he doesn't have to be those guys. You can still.
And we've talked in previous episodes, and I know that I've definitely said this in previous episodes. Those other guys are they're ridiculously entertaining. They are absolute like alien, non-human level skill at what they're doing.
Yeah,
But
Josh
they're also-
Allen is the most fun player to watch.
But they're also they're playing a style of football that is going to lead you to a lot more injuries and things like that. So, I mean, look at Patrick Mahomes, comes out of nowhere, was the most fun player to watch for 3 straight years, wins his Super Bowl, goes to back-to-back Super Bowls, and gets his head handed to him because he's injured. And that's the style of football that those guys play, and that's so much more exciting. But I would think as Patriots fans, we would be so much more concerned with longevity, which is how you get a Tom Brady with 6 Super Bowl rings in New England. He wasn't running around, he was commanding his offense. And I think that Mac he at the very least has the potential to do that kind of thing and to run that kind of football league or that kind of football team. So does it take a little bit of time for him to really get to that headspace where he can make those kind of on the fly calls? Definitely. And then once he starts doing that and he's not running around because that's his shtick. And I say that, it sounds derogatory. I don't mean to undercut what those other guys can do. You're right. Josh Allen is so much fun. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. It's ridiculous watching what they can do. But are they going to be doing that 10 years from now? My money's on no. Somebody's going to get hit the wrong way. Somebody's going to have a knee torn, an ACL tear or something like that.
I mean, we've already seen it with Lamar Jackson. He was injured all last year.
If you want rings upon rings upon rings, the way that New England Patriots fans want, the way that I think, honestly, you and I want, you got to be able to build sustainability. And that is the one thing that I will give the Patriots, is that a lot of times you're sitting there scratching your head like, what the hell are we doing with this draft? Or why are we making these decisions? But sustained success does not look like flashy and super entertaining. It's grinding.
Yeah, I mean, one of the podcasts that I listened to, Strong Opinion Sports, Zach, I've mentioned this podcast before, but he was like, like the Patriots are kind of boring. Like Mac Jones is kind of a boring quarterback. He makes the right throws, but he's not exciting. He's kind of boring. And yeah, I can agree with that. I do think Mac is a bit boring, but if we're winning games, that's all that matters.
Yeah. And I think the highlights will come, you know.
Yeah.
I think the big passes and the improvised plays and everything else that people like to levy against Mac, like a lot of that stuff is going to come. It just comes with time. You can't expect a rookie to take control of an offense and immediately do superstar shit. Like,
he's in his first year. Like, can we pump the brakes?
yeah, I think there's a lot of unwarranted kind of just, yeah, like hatred towards this dude when it's like, if you relax and look at what's actually happening, you've got another top tier quarterback in the making. If some more things go right for him.
Yeah, I mean, last year we didn't really know what to expect. I would say at this point in Mac's career, he's a middle tier quarterback, so he's probably sitting right around 16. I would say there are 15 better quarterbacks than him.
Yeah,
and that's not a bad thing. I think it's better
I think
than it's. I think it's a fair assessment.
And I think it's also an assessment based on the information that we have right now. Like, yeah, a fucking outstanding season for a rookie. But yeah, is he better than those other 14, 15 other guys? Not that we've seen.
Not right now.
He could be.
Yeah. I think that wraps up Pat's talk. Want to quickly go over the Celtics.
Yeah, let's talk about the Celtics.
Man, I have been watching them this entire run. Like these playoffs. So exciting to watch, man. Oh man. And just between like the Nets series, which that was fantastic to watch. All those games were super close, and to beat Kyrie, even better.
And I love again, I'm not a big basketball guy. I didn't watch a single Celtics game this season, but ESPN insists on giving me the updates anyway, because all of my other teams except for one are Boston teams. So I was getting the updates and I was seeing that they were kind of on a tear, but I really loved reading some of the pieces about Brooklyn fans heading into that series. Whoever they played the last game before that, you know, everybody, that's Barclays Center, right?
Yeah, it's Barclays. I worked there.
Yep. Everybody at the Barclays Center going, we want Boston, chanting, we want Boston, and then getting just annihilated. That makes me happy.
That was as a former employer of the Brooklyn Nets, it was like interesting to watch. I'm like, so I live in Boston now, but like my former team that I worked with, seeing their games every single day, interesting. But I wanted Boston to win ultimately. It's hard to root for Brooklyn. And it's mostly has to do with Kyrie Irving. Even when I was working at Barclays, I didn't like him. And then Kyrie with the whole, like, I'm not getting vaccinated and sitting out a bunch of games.
Yeah.
Like, you're not a good teammate, I think. That's just my take on that. Oh well, but we beat them. We went past them, swept them.
Yep. Got
to play Milwaukee against Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek Freak, and
still managed to pull it out.
We pulled it out. I think the big takeaway from that series is, man, Milwaukee really missed Chris Middleton. I mean, if Chris Middleton played in that series, that could have looked a whole lot different. But I mean, that's just basketball. That's sports in general. Sometimes people get hurt, unfortunately.
And it's one of the things that I realized after not really paying attention to basketball since I was in like elementary school, like maybe middle school or something. It's funny how much like a single player can make a difference. Like watching Steph Curry last night was like, it's insane to watch a single player in a team sport make like that much of a difference to a team.
Steph Curry, he's the greatest shooter of all time.
I mean, every single three went in.
We couldn't stop him last night. Yeah.
It was fucking painful because, you know, you watch the Celtics and they were missing layups. Like it was a little painful to watch. But you know, that's, you know, the tide turns in basketball kind kind of similar to hockey. I think it turns a lot quicker during the course of a game than games like football or baseball, where if you're down, it is incredibly hard to bounce back.
For sure.
So I think, you take your licks. It's the finals. You're playing against, a player in a team that is just like kind of nationally loved.
Oh yeah.
Like the Warriors. It's okay. They won at home. The crowd noise was fucking insane too. That's like there are World Series games and Stanley Cup Finals games that I have not heard a crowd that hyped.
For sure.
I think the Celtics could.
That Heat series too was pretty incredible as well.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler was going off for the Heat, but I guess he didn't have enough help around him to finish that out. But man, he was on a mission trying to play against the Celtics, able to pull that one out. And now it's the Warriors. Yep. And man, game 2, that was brutal to watch. The Golden State Warriors, man, they have that championship experience.
Yeah.
I mean, they've won 3, but they made 5 in that stretch, 5 straight years, won 3. They went on.
They're a dynasty.
Oh yeah, they are. They deserve that respect, even though they did form like that super team.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think those super teams, especially, it seems like a lot of those teams in the NBA have their you get your big 3 for your team. Like, it seems like it's easier to build the super teams than it is for a lot of the other team sports. But
for
yeah,
sure.
Still, you gotta put respect on the name. You can't not.
Yeah,
they're really good.
That first game, it was a back and forth affair. Then the Warriors went up by 11. Actually, they went up by a little bit more in that third quarter in game 1. But Celtics started to go on a little bit of a tear towards like the last couple minutes of that quarter. In the fourth quarter, they exploded.
Yeah.
They exploded. Oh my goodness. They were matching it, and then they went on, what was it, like a 20-point run?
Yeah, something like that.
Massive. And last night we just couldn't stop that third quarter surge from the Warriors.
Yep.
Insane.
It
was bad.
It was an entire half where it was just nothing went in our favor. So
the keys,
we'll see how.
The keys to the rest of this series, we can't let Draymond Green bother us, because he was just being a huge asshole the whole game.
Indeed.
We need Marcus Smart to stick on Curry.
Yeah.
That's the defensive player of the year.
Exactly. You gotta
shut him down. We can't let him shoot anything.
Yeah.
And Jalen needs to have a better shooting night. He started off hot.
Just not a lot of follow through in the back half of that game.
Yeah, and Al Horford was nowhere to be seen, unfortunately.
We'll see how game 3 turns out.
Yeah.
Report back.
I'm excited. Hopefully there's another viewing party at Faneuil Hall, because they had one on Sunday.
Yeah.
To watch the game, but maybe I'll sneak on down there.
See if you meet any fans of the pod.
Maybe. Who knows? So hopefully we will have another episode up at least after game 4.
Yeah.
So next week.
Sooner rather than later, for sure.
Sooner rather than later, so we can talk more Celtics, hopefully. Let's talk music.
Yeah. Let's do a quick recap. During the last episode, we talked a lot about the shows that we had gone to just the week before. We both got to see the Turnstile Love Connection tour with Citizens, Ceremony, and Ikulu.
And there was like one other band there, but I forget.
Yeah, damn.
I
forget who it was, but we talked a little bit about. For me, it was really getting back to like a true hardcore show, which I hadn't been to in years. Hopped in the pit, got to experience some mayhem, and it was interesting seeing like big room hardcore.
Yeah, for sure. Never been to a sitting hardcore show.
That was so Brooklyn Bowl down here in Nashville does not really have like a seated part of the venue, but the lanes weren't the lanes weren't going, so there were some seats around there where I could go and take a breather. And thank God for venues that allow re-entry, because man, it was like, I think it was the last couple of songs of Ceremony set where I was like, I gotta get something to eat real bad. And that area of Nashville has some pretty decent places, so I was able to go grab a veggie burger that was quite good before I came back to catch the last of definitely more than half of Citizen set, who I haven't seen in years. So that was cool to see all them.
I've seen Citizen I feel like I've seen Citizen 3 times since getting back.
Yeah, they've
been touring nonstop lately.
Yeah, they're on a tear. It's crazy.
But they're really good. I like their new album is really good. I've been jamming to that lately.
I've got a playlist in my library that I'm just constantly adding to songs that I see people post on Instagram and new albums that are coming out, like that new Joyce Manor record that's due pretty soon. And yeah, Life in Your Glass World, the latest album from Citizen. It's kind of more in like the indie rock vein than Turnstile and some of the other like definitely more hardcore stuff, but the Citizen album and the Turnstile album have a lot of kind of crossover with some of the more interesting kind of rhythmic takes on some of those songs, and the way that they're playing with melodies and stuff. It's still guitar driven, like heavier music, alternative music in Citizen's case, but just super, super good. And it was great to see it live. Like, so much energy.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It's a very fun album to listen to. Man, it was weird for me to see Ceremony playing in such a big room like that.
Yeah.
Like the last time I saw Anchors Up play was in a tiny room about like 10 years ago, and they haven't released like L-Shaped Man or some of their other albums that they've come out with recently. It was cool. I'm more a fan of their earlier work. But I think I can appreciate what they have done. They are a really cool band that's just changed their sound progressively, and they're not afraid to do some weird shit.
Yeah, I think that's kind of true for everybody on that tour. That was kind of the theme, was these Citizen definitely came from they were one of those weird bands that people always called them pop punk, and I never really heard pop punk coming out of them. Definitely more of that like Run for Cover style of grunge that was super popular, like Balance and Composure, early Turnover kind of stuff. And then they did the transition from that to like dancier, more rhythmic based stuff, way better than a lot of their contemporaries. And obviously that's been the big kind of thing for Turnstile, and why that band has just absolutely blown up. They've now played 3 late night sets, which is just crazy. They, like, all of the bands on that tour were rooted in like punk and hardcore, and then have managed to incorporate punk and hardcore into something definitely poppier, but still like retaining that heaviness in a way that a lot of other bands don't manage to do. Like, it's super impressive to see them get so catchy, but you can still listen to an album like Glow On and be like, no, this is a hardcore record. Like, this is punk all the way through.
Yeah, for sure. Turnstile played, that was one of the biggest. They played like they were like the biggest band in the world. They act like the biggest band in the world, which is really cool.
In the best way too, because it's not that glam metal fucking Guns N' Roses weirdness.
Hey, don't shit on Guns N' Roses,
bro. Appetite for Destruction is a perfect album. I get it, but man, I just can't get into that like rock star persona kind of crap. Like, when you dig into the band and like see any of their interviews or anything like that, it's cringy. It's super, super cringe.
Well, like, Turnstile just seemed like they're still down to earth guys. Like,
exactly.
Like I saw like a Nardwuar interview.
Yeah, Nardwuar. Yeah.
And my favorite part is the Nardwuar. It was like the first gift, because if you've ever watched Nardwuar, he's very eccentric. He's very all over the place. He does his research. I would definitely check him out and definitely watch some of his interviews. He's really cool.
Yeah.
He handed them a picture that they took, and it turns out also had the same picture, and they were like, yeah, we have this, like we've like met you in Austin, like I was hanging out with like somebody like from Power Trip. They were just like shooting the shit about that. So they seem like really cool guys that I would want to hang out with and be around.
Yeah, no, they definitely come across like that. Like you can definitely see that they're just like, I mean, I forget the vocalist's name, but every show he's worn just a black t-shirt that just says thank you in giant white print. Like those guys just seem so stoked that they're doing what they're doing and that people like it's resonating with people. And that's always like, that's super cool to see. So it's not like one of those things where, you know, a band starts to make it big and you can kind of tell like the change in like characters and stuff once people know that they're doing something kind of big. Like the ego is definitely in check with that band, and it's so cool to see.
Well, I think when you come from a hardcore and punk scene, there are so many, you get your ego checked and put in your place a lot.
Definitely.
There's always somebody who is keeping you in check.
Whether it's your peers or the bands themselves or anybody else, like there's always like if you think you're too fucking cool for school, there's always someone right around the corner in punk or hardcore that's going to turn around and is going to check you because they've been there longer or they know better than you or whatever. Like it's a very like it can be kind of a harsh community, but it's so beneficial, I think, for a lot of kids. And I think that's part of the reason why like it works so well as a community is that there's that it's like an inherent checks and balances thing with a lot of punk kids that's super cool.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I think they appreciate everything that's happening to them. They're living in that moment, but they're still like the same people. I've never met them, but that's what they seem like.
Yeah.
And I hope to see them do way more bigger tours. I mean, they're going to be doing some tours with, playing some shows with My Chem.
Which is, I remember when I was looking for tickets to this most recent tour down here in Nashville, I think it was Bands in Town or whatever that I was using to see tickets. And I saw that they were an opener for My Chem on a literal like stadium tour. I was like, that's ridiculous. But also, hey, shout out to My Chemical Romance for turning around, and like Turnstile is not really like in the same world of alternative music as My Chem was or is, so that's pretty sick.
I mean, when you're getting Bodes of Confidence from My Chemical Romance and Dave Grohl is shouting you out as one of his favorite new artists.
I think it was was it Lars from Metallica who did the write-up for Turnstile's like Tiny Desk concert? Like,
did he?
Turnstile got huge.
Yeah, I mean they're signed to a major at this point, so
yeah. I mean Roadrunner is huge, but man, it's just so cool to see, and being able to like that's we probably if their career continues to be, you know, if the music continues to be this good, if their career continues to be this kind of fruitful, like you and I probably saw Turnstile on the smallest stages we're going to see them on for a long time.
Yeah, I mean...
Which was a bummer because I was going to a hardcore show and I really wanted it to be No Barriers, but also with a band that's that big, you know.
You need that, though.
Yeah.
Well...
Yeah.
But, man, the light show, the lighting tech on that tour, insane.
Yeah, and you can get a taste for it on that Jimmy Fallon clip where they play Blackout. I mean, they went all out. Like there are bands way bigger that do more like conceptual kind of things on some of those late night appearances, but the Turnstile song that was on Jimmy Fallon, the lighting that they did for that set, it just looked like a rock show, and it looked like what they were doing on the tour, like very just true to what it was.
For sure. Another show that I saw recently was Pup the Band.
Pup the Band Incorporated is filing for bankruptcy.
Oh, man. They recently came out with an album called The Unraveling of Pup the Band. If you haven't checked this out yet, would highly recommend it. They are for sure a musician's band.
Yeah.
But I think when you're talking about like a musician's band, I typically think of Tool,
Yeah.
which is
I
fine.
can see that.
But I think Pup has a lot of pop sensibility as well, which bodes well for a broader audience.
And I think a lot of it has to do with their live sets, like their energy and their just like excitedness about doing what they're doing really kind of sets Pup aside from some of their peers. Like there's a reason why every band I've ever been a part of, and like most of the musicians that I've worked with, especially in kind of the more punk and alternative space, like everybody has a Pup t-shirt. Like there's always one guy.
Yeah, I mean they are a fantastic punk band. Like in the same way that like Joyce Manor is a punk band, I would say Pup and Joyce Manor are two different kinds of punk.
Yeah, I think Pup is a little bit more, rough around the edges. They really kind of lean into that, like...
Pup leans into the I fucking hate myself and I want you to know how much I hate myself.
Yeah, definitely that lyric-driven, like, emo kind of deal with Pup, where Joyce Manor is very, like, analog. Like, you can tell that a lot of their stuff is recorded to tape and, like, really kind of demo-ish, even when it's a full release.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying, where they're kind of two sides of the same coin. Like, those two bands definitely occupy the same kind of space in my mind.
I would say Pup is a little bit bigger though, because one's playing Coachella, the other one's Joyce Manor is nothing to scoff at. They are a nationally touring band, and they do great for themselves.
Yeah, like definitely seem to have reached a point of stability in their career, which is always nice to see for bands coming out of that scene.
I mean, that's so tough. How many bands were we into that they just had to stop touring because it just got way too expensive? They were losing money on every tour.
Yeah, you can't even afford to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's most bands.
It's tough.
Yeah.
But Pup, their brand new album, The Unraveling of Pup, fantastic. There's one of the highlights on that album is the very last one, where it's Pup the band is filing for bankruptcy.
I love that song.
And the line I think is hilarious. Is like, so you sell insurance? That's so inspiring. Let me know in 2 years if they're hiring.
Yeah. That one, I felt personally victimized by that.
That gets me every time. Man. Hilarious. Yeah. That was great. That was great to see live. They're insane musicians. Holy shit.
Yeah, just a lot of energy, and they bring a decent amount of technicality along with that. So
fantastic. I think the last thing that we mentioned in the last episode was show behavior or concert behavior.
Definitely.
Listen, concerts are back, and we're all excited about them. We all excited about going to them, but I think there needs to be a level of respect that you need to bring when you're going to a show. For example, if you're watching a solo performer and you want to talk during their set, don't be in the front row talking. Go to the bar. Have your conversation there. Or why are you having a conversation? You're at a concert. You should be listening to the music.
Ideally, you paid to be there.
Yeah,
so.
you paid to be there. Why would you be an asshole and talk through somebody's set? This is one I've been trying not to do as much. Texting during someone's set, especially at like a local show.
Texting and like filming as well. I think
I'm guilty of filming so bad.
Filming's the interesting one because I get it. Like we live in the age of social media, and you want to be able to document things, and that's how for the most part in my adult life, that's been my feeling towards Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and everything else, is that like I like the idea of having those platforms as like a documentation of like, I was here at this time, I did this thing at this time, I was thinking this at this time.
For sure.
And I don't think anybody would call me a clout chaser, but like there is that validation that you get from posting those kind of things and getting the likes and getting comments and everything else. So I I get that. I get wanting to put that out there and to document it in that way, but like you don't sit there with your phone up the entire time just recording everything. I would say you don't even need to do it for an entire song. There's so many YouTube channels and so many guys like Hate56 that are documenting these tours and things like that. Like if you want to relive a set like that in full, I would say a solid 75% of the time, you can find video footage of the tour that you're talking about. You don't need to have that sitting in your photos. You're not going to post the entire thing. You're probably not going to look at it. So like, enjoy the moment.
That's true. I think when I was seeing the Wonder Years Upsides and Suburbia tour, like the Boston date, I did film quite a bit, but it was with the caveat that I know that they don't play a lot of those songs before, and I just like the memories.
Yeah, and having those memories, especially if you're like at a date like that, you know, you probably weren't front and center. You probably weren't.
No, I was in the back.
Yeah, you're not cutting off anybody else's line of view that's trying to like actually be in the moment or whatever. So yeah, you know, if you're in that kind of position, fine. But like, not only do I hate when I'm at like a general admission show and I just see a sea of phone screens in front of me that are obstructing my view, I also hate when you see that sea of phone screens and you see that everybody's watching what's happening in front of them through their phone. They're not actually seeing like Dan Campbell jumping up on stage and shit like that.
I usually try to do it like this, where I'm like, I'll be
with your. So for those of you at home, Dan's camera is basically just below his chin.
So I'll look down. I'll be like, okay, making sure that it's there, and then I'll point it up, and I'll just be watching it, holding down or whatever. Because I want to be able to watch it. I want to be able to see it with my own two eyes.
Yeah. And then again, on the tip of, you know, show etiquette and everything else, moshing is sick, crowd surfing is sick, stage diving is sick. Like, I'm getting a little too old from it. I had I took an elbow to the chest and I was feeling that for a solid week or two. But dude, crowd killing, like if there are people on the edge of the pit that are clearly like not part of it, don't be going and throwing fists and legs and everything else into that. That's like, if you're in the pit or if you're even right next to it, like there's an expectation that, you know, you could take a blow, but be respectful of the people around you. If you're crowd surfing, my thing with crowd surfing has always been no more than 2 times during a set. And I only reserve it for the songs that I really, really want to be up in the air. Like, I'll try and time it so that I get, you know, because 9 times out of 10, I get it. Like, if you're up there, you get to make contact with the vocalist or with one of the band members or whatever, and you're screaming it back in their face. And I know that they kind of like seeing that reaction too. But you don't need to be in the air 15, 20 times during a band's set. That's like, it's not about you, first of all, and second of all, it's not about you. Like,
yeah, I mean, that is true.
Get your jollies in while you can, but don't be a dick.
Crowd killing, I'm not going to do it. Unfortunately, it is a violent part of hardcore and punk. If you don't want to be part of it, I would suggest don't be near it. Yeah. Like I know where I stand. I know where I want to be in a show. I'm done with moshing. I'm done with crowd surfing and stage diving and all that stuff. Like, that's just, I've had too many injuries from all of that. Yeah. I can't do it anymore. I've gotten 4 concussions from 4 different shows.
Takes its toll.
Yeah, it takes its toll. I can't do it anymore. It's way too much. I stand in the back, I watch, and during the whole Turnstile show, I was up in the balcony watching. It was perfect.
Yeah. Definitely had a couple of those shows where I've been sitting there and I've been like, oh, it's so nice to just sit.
Yeah.
And just watch.
I would say, like, if you don't want to be in the big crowd, I mean, I understand, especially with COVID, and COVID cases are rising again.
Yeah.
Stand in the back, chill in the back. Like, still going to be cool. Like, you know, let me see. Another thing, like AJ always says, you vote with your dollar. Buy some merch from the band. If you have an extra $30 lying around, buy a t-shirt.
Yep.
Buy a t-shirt.
That's-
Support your local band. Go to local shows. Like my friends in When Without, they have like a shit ton of merch, and I have a t-shirt of theirs. Like, I never buy local band merch, but I mean, like, support your friends, support the local scene.
Yeah, and if they, if you want to see bands that you like continue to do what you like, you gotta help them out in that way.
For sure.
And also a t-shirt that you can wear all the time and that you might be able to meet your best friend in, kind of like my Title Fight sweatshirt that started this whole fucking friendship.
Yes.
Like, that t-shirt's, I would argue, a much better memento in memory than a 35-minute video on your phone that you're probably not going to actually watch. So,
oh man. Trying to think of what else. Other show etiquette things.
pick people up when they fall down.
Oh, that's a big one.
Back on the moshing tip. I know that's probably obvious for a lot of people. But I'm a relatively small boy. And there has not been a single mosh pit that I have gotten into where I have not ended up on my ass. So it's just a sign of respect, especially when it's the person that managed to knock you down. It's always super nice when you see the hand reach out, or when somebody just hoists you. Like, if somebody's down, check on them. If there's hats or keys or wallets or whatever that end up on the floor that you notice, just throw them up in the air for a couple of minutes. Wait until the end of the song, hold it up, see if somebody can find it. If not, I think it's fair game to toss it. Don't throw it out of the pit or whatever else. Like, somebody's going to be looking for that shit, but hold it up. If nobody comes and claims it after a minute or two, toss it to the other side of the pit, see if anybody else can find it.
Or give it to security or whatever.
Yeah, there's a way to help out the people around you without you having to do too much there.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I love working in concert venues, and I love working concerts because everyone paid to be in that room. Everyone wants to be in that room and see the music. It's such a great environment, and you might as well just keep that up. Be welcoming.
Yeah, you never know whose person it's their first show. So you want to it's not just the bands and the promoters and everybody that needs to make it a good time for everybody. There's little things that you can do as a member of the community to enhance everybody's show going experience.
And I mean, we're not doing this because a lot of people are bad at going to concerts, but summer concerts are a thing. They're happening. We have festival season coming up. Have fun, but don't be a dick.
Let's go.
Anyways, do we want to wrap up and with our suggestions?
Yeah, let's do it. I have a suspicion that both of our suggestions are going to be the same this week.
Oh?
Yeah.
Why? What is your suggestion?
I'm fucking blanking on the name. Hold on. Library. My suggestion this week is... How is it not in here? What the hell? Oh. The name of the EP is Feel It by a band called Squint.
That was not my suggestion, but...
Oh, cool. Well, I showed it to Dan earlier this week. It's it's definitely kind of youth crew influenced hardcore. And Dan described it as if only Ned sang in Title Fight, which I think is spot on. It's awesome. It's aggressive, punky kind of leaning, but still with a decent amount of melody. Yeah, just a cool recent release from a band that I had never heard of. I don't even remember how I came across them. I think I was just looking up. I think it might have been on Twitter. Somebody posted about this EP talking about because I searched Twitter for Blacklisted because I wanted to follow them and see what was going on with them.
They haven't done anything.
Because my 2022 hardcore renaissance continues. I finally understand why Blacklisted is so revered. And I came across this EP by Squint, and it's fucking awesome. And speaking of Blacklisted, if you follow the Packy Run podcast at Packy Run Pod on Instagram and Twitter, I did another album of the week, quick little minute and a half long video review of Blacklisted's LP Heavier Than Heaven, Lonelier Than God, which is really cool if you're into hardcore and punk music, and you should definitely give it a listen because it is a classic.
For sure. Those are two good suggestions. Heavier Than God, Heavier Than Heaven, Lonelier Than God. Definitely a classic. That is a classic hardcore record. Not sure if I've already suggested this. And if I have already, I apologize. You can call me out. Mine is Kings of the New Age by State Champs. This brand new pop punk record. Never been a State Champs fan up until I would say now. But this album is fantastic. It's a mix of newer pop punk with some of that old sounds like Simple Plan, and you can hear some influences of like Good Charlotte in there. You have the summer song, I think, Everyone But You, which is a fucking banger. That's one of the best pop punk songs I've heard in a very long time. Pop punk for a while got to this stale place of, girls breaking up with me, like I'm sad, I'm this, I'm that. This is a party song. This is a party pop punk song. You just want to hang out, and there hasn't been a lot of pop punk songs that have been just straight up party music, and this is coming back to it, and this is a fun album, a very summer album to listen to, so definitely check that out.
Cool. Well, barring any issues with editing and bouncing and everything else, this should be out in your ears within the next probably 24 hours. Thanks for sticking with us. Make sure that you follow us on our socials. It's at PackyRunPod on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at AJ_Lagambina on both Instagram and Twitter. And are you still Mandayot or?
I am Mandayot, MANDAYOTTE on Instagram, and I think I'm just at. Hold on, let me make sure I don't know my.
Get this one right.
And mine is at Dan Mayot on Twitter.
So follow us, follow the Packy Run socials. We'll keep you guys engaged. We'll keep doing these album of the week posts and get you some more podcast content as we figure out these schedules that just seem to be continually changing.
For sure.
Cool.
So hopefully we will be back next week, but if not, we will give you updates. We're sorry for being so late.
We needed a pause. We needed a pause at this point, and we're back in the saddle. Let's go.
For sure. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.